السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. فقد قال جل وعلا في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين. صدق الله العظيم. Respected viewers, I come to you from Daarul, Arqam, Australia. There is no stage in the life of a human being, and in particular in the life of a believer, where a person could become complacent in their progress and their achievement. In essence, the effort to better ourselves, to improve ourselves, is unending. It's a lifelong effort. وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Allah says that continue worshipping Allah until death overtakes you. And really speaking, when a person has the desire of becoming a better Muslim, when a person has the desire of becoming a better human being, then wallahi they would learn from all circumstances, whether positive, whether negative, each and everything would leave you impressed. Like in English they say that a positive thinker finds an opportunity in every difficulty, and a negative thinker finds a difficulty in every opportunity. Let me repeat that. A positive thinker finds an opportunity in every difficulty, and a negative thinker finds a difficulty in every opportunity. Luqman the Wise, there is an entire chapter in the 21st juz of Quran. Allah devotes this entire chapter to Luqman the Wise. Somebody asked him, Luqman, you are so famous, you are so intelligent, you are so wise. Where did you learn all this from? What did he say? I learnt it from those who lacked it. People said, elaborate, what are you speaking about? He said, when I'd seen someone doing something wrong, I said, that looks wicked. That looks despicable. So that is what I should avoid. If it looks evil to me when he does it, I guess it will look evil to others when I do it. If it looks evil to me when he does it, I guess it would look evil to others when I do it. That was my goal in life. Respected viewers, we see what is happening in the Muslim world currently, what is happening in Gaza. Allah ease in the plight of our brothers and our sisters and the Palestinians and those young innocent children. When we study the concluding verses of Surah Al-Tahrim, Allah in the most amazing way says, وَضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا امْرَأَةَ نُوحٍ وَامْرَأَةَ لُوطٍ. That the wife of Nuh alayhi salam and the wife of Lut alayhi salam were disbelievers. Abdullah bin Abbas, the father of Tafsir, writes under the commentary of this verse, it is mentioned, مَا بَغَتْ إِمْرَأَةُ نَبِيٍّ قَطُّ. Scholars have written, it is possible for the wife of a Nabi to be a disbeliever. It is possible for the wife of a Nabi to be a disbeliever. But it is impossible for the wife of a Nabi to be immoral and be unchaste. كَتَبَ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. In the same breath, in the same light, in the same vein, in the system of Allah, in the world, you would find that non-Muslims would progress, they would excel. But in the system of Allah, there is no room for your oppressive ruler and your oppressive state. I come from South Africa. The system of apartheid, whether it took 2, 3, 5 decades, whatever it was, but ultimately in the planning of Allah, the system of apartheid had to be dismantled. In Hadith Qudsi, Allah says, Ya ibadi, inni harramtu dhulma ala nafsi, wa ja'altuhu baynakum muharraman, fala tadhalamu. O my servants, I have made oppression, exploitation, forbidden upon myself. How dare you oppress? Kataba ala nafsihi rahma. Allah says, I have made compassion my trait and my quality, and I've made it incumbent upon myself. In the same breath, in the same vein, in the same light, I have made oppression and exploitation forbidden upon myself, just as a kind gesture to you. فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا, how dare you oppress. There is an amazing incident recorded in the books that back in the day, there was an elderly woman living on a farm, and with her she had a little kids, and the only source of income was a cow. She used to milk the cow and feed the children from the milk of the cow. There was a tyrant ruler, a king at that time, was traveling with his entourage. He passes by this village and he snatches the cow from this woman. Naturally, the woman was perturbed and disturbed. He snatches the cow, roasted the cow, they had eaten the cow. This woman was upset. Somebody tells her that tomorrow this tyrant king and ruler will be passing by on that bridge. Stand on that bridge and make known to him your concern. If he hears you out, well and good. If not, that's the condition of a tyrant ruler. This elderly woman, she stands on the bridge, and as this king is coming with his entourage, might and glory, she says, I have one question to ask you. Do you want to settle me on this bridge, or do you want to settle me on the bridge of Sirat? Do you want to settle me on this bridge, or do you want to settle me on the bridge of Sirat? When we see the current happenings, what is happening currently in Gaza, it makes me cry, it makes you cry. We need to understand, respected viewers, Allah has not made this world a place where justice would be meted out. Nor has Allah kept in the capacity of this world for justice to be meted out. Neither has Allah made the current happenings a place where the world will determine justice. Tilkal ayyam nudawiluha bayna nas. Allah said, this is the world. Some will be given honor, some will be given dignity, some will be given respect, some will be disgraced. Tilkal ayyam. If this world determined victory, if this world was a place of justice, then Abdullah bin Ja'far would not have passed away. His hands would not have been severed. If this world determined justice, the grandson of the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not have passed on like he passed away on the battlefield of Karbala. This is the world. Tilkal ayyam, tilkal ayyam. This is the world. Some will be given honor, some will be disgraced, some will be given victory, some would lose, some would be defeated. When we study Fir'aun, we look at the oppression that is happening to the Palestinian Ummah at the moment. And when we study Quran, Quran is not a storybook. I always say this. Unfortunately, we have not studied the language of Quran. We have barred ourselves from volumes of Islamic knowledge. Study the oppression of Fir'aun and parallel that with the oppression that the Palestinians are going through. What is being meted out to them? Wallahi, it makes me cry, it makes you cry. It will make any human being cry. But before you become a victim of the psychological despondency, which in essence is the object of the media, we need to put things into perspective and understand. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. The day of Qiyamah will see that justice will prevail. Study the oppression of Fir'aun. He had ordered the massacre of children across the board. That was one crime. Again, in his foolish notion to alter the system of Allah, Musa alayhi salam comes into this world, becomes a Nabi of Allah. 600,000 magicians accept the message of Musa alayhi salam. He orders the massacre of children across the board. But the difference was, Fir'aun yudhabbihu abna'ahum wa yastahyi nisa'ahum. He killed the boys and he left the girls. Allah forgive the Fir'auns of today are killing both the boys and the girls. There was a slave girl, the slave of Fir'aun. His name was Hisqeel. Reference to this is made in Ibn Majah on page 291. Hisqeel was a person who had accepted Islam discreetly in the time of Fir'aun. And he discreetly accepted Islam. His wife also embraced Islam, and she was the slave of Fir'aun. So one day, the wife of Hisqeel was, when they speak about carnage, brutality, then to speak about oppression, when we see this type of oppression, and we begin asking the question, where is Allah? Where is Allah? Listen to this incident. Fir'aun's slave girl, she was busy combing the hair of Fir'aun's daughter, and the comb fell down, and she said, Ta'isa Fir'aun. What a dictator Fir'aun is. What a oppressor Fir'aun is. Who was Fir'aun? We will tell you just now. What happened to him? Oppression, exploitation. Allah gives clemency, Allah gives leeway. She was busy combing the hair of Fir'aun, and the comb fell down. And she said, Ta'isa Fir'aun. What a dictator Fir'aun is. What a oppressor Fir'aun is. She says, you deny the divinity of my father? She said, yes. This woman was brought in the court of Fir'aun. Fir'aun said, Mar Rabbuk, who is your Lord? She said, my Lord is Allah and is your Lord. In front of me you deny my divinity? She said, I believe in one Allah. فقال الحراس, I gave you the reference, Ibn Majah. Fir'aun called some of his guards and he said, do me a favor, light a fire. احرقوها واحرقوا أبناءها أمامها. When you see what is happening to those young innocent children who are burnt alive, they can strike their missiles. They call it precision timing. We call it the clemency of Allah. They call it striking targets. We call it the mercy of the Almighty Allah. Fir'aun, he said, burn this woman alive. But before you burn her alive, burn her children in front of her eyes. These little children were taken and thrown into the fire, burnt alive in front of the mother. This woman was taken and thrown into the fire. When my Nabi and your Nabi ascended on the journey of Mi'raj, he comes to a certain place and he gets a beautiful fragrance. He said, Jibreel, ma hadihi rihu tayyibah. What is this beautiful fragrance I get? Jibreel said, that is the smell and the scent that is coming from the grave of the slave of Fir'aun who died whilst giving her life for Allah. Next to her is a husband and next to her are her children. Centuries later, when my Nabi's conveyance ascends to the heavens, he gets the beautiful fragrance coming from the grave of the slave of Fir'aun. What I'm saying, respected viewers, is that perhaps we might not see justice now, but it will come. Even the messengers of Allah, أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا. Allah makes reference to this in Quran. Do you think Jannat, it's a walk in the park? You will be tested by Allah. But those who are falling, those who die and cry, like the Arabic poet says, Abi abligh tara al-aqtha salami. Oh my father, you are going to the land of Al-Aqsa. Convey my special, choicest regards to the soil of Masjid Al-Aqsa. Convey my salams to the Palestinian Ummah and say to them, Ma matat law qutila shaheedu. Those who die in the liberation of Aqsa, they may be dead in the eyes of the world, but wallahi, they're alive in the eyes of Allah. We say this oppression, exploitation, carnage, brutality that we see today, unprecedented in human history. Like we mentioned in the beginning, we see footage, it makes me cry, it makes you cry. It will make any human being cry. But let us remind ourselves, before you become a victim of the psychological despondency, which in essence is the object of the media, the day of Qiyamah will see the justice will prevail. Ala inna nasrallahi qareeb. Ala inna nasrallahi qareeb. We leave you with the words of the Nabi of Allah. What did the Nabi of Allah say? Enjoy living in this world when four people exist. بعلم العلماء وبعدل الأمراء وبسخاوة الأغنياء وبدعاء الفقراء. When there are learned scholars, ulama around. لولا العلماء لهلك الجهلاء. When there are no ulama, then the ignorant people would be led astray. بعدل الأمراء. When there is justice, there is fairness, and there is equality in this world. What did the Nabi of Allah say? Enjoy living in this world. لولا عدل الأمراء. When there is no justice, there is no fairness, there is no equality in this world, لَأَكَلَ النَّاسِ بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا. Then those in power and authority, they would seize that opportunity, they would abuse that position of authority, and they would abuse those on the ground. لَوْلَا عَدْلُ الْأُمَرَاءِ. If there is no justice, there is no fairness, there is no equality, People on the ground, the masses would suffer. And then what did the Nabi of Allah say? Sakhawatul aghniya, when there are generous, wealthy people around. When there's no generosity in this world, the poor people will suffer. And number 4, dua il fuqara, when there are pious poor people around. Lawla dua ul fuqara, when there's no piety, there's no pious elderly around, Allah will destroy the heavens and the earth. And my Nabi said, you will be better off for batnul ardi khayrun min dhahriha. You will be better off beneath the ground than above the ground. We see this is the plight of the Palestinian Ummah. As Muslims, we need to reaffirm our belief that there's something like the day of Qiyamah. Whether we see it today, whether we see it tomorrow, let them take the life of 1, let them take the life of 2, let them take the life of 1,000. But amongst those 1,000 is the friend of Allah. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا أَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Allah says, not for one moment should you entertain the thought that Allah is unmindful of the atrocities of the evil people. إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ. Allah gives respite, Allah gives clemency, Allah gives leeway. We learn close to Qiyamah when Ya'juj and Ma'juj would make their presence on this earth. This is not a time to envy. This is not a time to look forward to. The challenges of preserving Iman will be immensely great. Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Gog and Magog, they will kill every living creature on Mother Earth. Thereafter, they will direct their arrows to the skies. And they will say, we have killed the inhabitants of this earth. We now want to kill the dwellers in the sky. Allah's clemency, Allah's respite knows no bounds. Allah will return those arrows stained with blood, falsely giving them that hope. Respected viewers, we need to remind ourselves, justice, oppression, I mentioned in the beginning, whether it takes decades, but in the system of Allah, in the planning of Allah, the system of apartheid had to be dismantled. It will be dismantled. Let us keep our trust and our reliance on the Almighty Allah. Support the Palestinian cause. Make dua for our brothers and our sisters. And in conclusion, if Allah has given us the means, let us insha'Allah, bi'idhnillah, with the help of Allah, travel to Baytul Muqaddas. The Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when we studied the narrations, he exhorted the Sahaba to travel to Baytul Muqaddas. Abdullah bin Umar, the great giant, the great scholar, the son of the great giant Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, used to travel all the way to Baytul Muqaddas without drinking a sip of water and journey back to Makkatul Mukarramah. Because of the virtue when Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he built Baytul Muqaddas, the 3 famous du'as that he made, and the last du'a that he made was that that person who performs salah in this masjid and he returns, let him return from this journey like the day his mother had given birth to him, totally sinless. Nabi alayhi salam said Ameen to the dua of Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam. We make dua to the Almighty Allah. Allah ease in the plight of the Muslim Ummah. May Allah grant the Ummah victory. This is not a Palestinian issue. It's a humanitarian issue. It's a Muslim issue. Every one of us are the guardians of Baytul Muqaddas, the land of Sham. What did my Nabi say? Tuba li-Sham, Tuba li-Sham. Glad tidings to the land of Sham. Sahaba said, why, O Nabi of Allah? Nabi alayhi salam said, the angels of Allah spread their wings over the land of Sham. You will not find the space of 4 fingers. You will not find an inch of ground except an angel of Allah worshipped Allah and prostrated before the Almighty Allah on that piece of ground. May Allah Ta'ala ease in the plight. May Allah make it easy for Muslims wherever they are suffering. We are living in a Western country. We can practice our religion. As-sa'idu man wa'ida bighayri. An intelligent one is the one who heeds the happenings around him. Like the Arabic poet says, it is better for you to empathize and sympathize on the tragedy of your brother than to moan and groan on your own tragedy. And it is better for you to remain silent on your own tragedy. To moan and groan, where does it bring you? Like they say in English, a tragedy that brings a person closer to Allah, in reality it is a bounty. And a bounty that takes a person away from Allah, in reality it is a tragedy. It's a tragedy, but those who fall, those who die and cry in Palestine, every one of them, we know what the rewards are. And what What is their status? What is their rank in the eyes of Allah? The question is, what have I done for this beautiful deen? Like they say in English, and we leave you with these words, not everyone can do great things, but each and every one of us can do simple things in a great way. Not everyone can do great things, but each and every one of us can do simple things in a great way. And what do they say in English? No one is sinless, but each and every one of us could make a concerted effort to sin less. That sin that you are persistent for years on end, show Allah that commitment. Show Allah that commitment. Give up that sin. Like we always say, there is a fire of sin that is crossing the world. We don't welcome a person with another match, but we will welcome any person with any quantity of water to extinguish that fire, add value to people's lives, become ambassadors of this beautiful deen. If we cannot become ambassadors, for Allah's sake, do not become obstacles. Jazakallahu khairan. We come to you from Daarul Arqam in Australia, Melbourne, Australia. May Allah take this institute from strength to strength. Allah preserve our Mufti Ziyad and his team for the amazing work that they are doing in this part of the world. May Allah grant us the tawfiq. May Allah bless you. Allah bless your families. And Allah grant us the ability that we imbibe, we infuse, and we internalize. And we never lose hope. وَلَا تَحِنُوا وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.